Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and as you can tell by the title, I think we have a bit of a problem on ladder, and it's a familiar one. It kind of very reminiscent of Ashes of Outland. Demon Hunter in Standard is basically taking a stranglehold on the format, and something kind of needs to be done about it. We're going to talk about that as well. Of course, I just want to mention we're only a couple hundred subs away from 49,000, and when we hit that, I'm going to be giving away even more stuff. We've been doing giveaways every 1,000 subs, so keep hitting that sub button if you haven't already. We got some cool stuff planned. But yes, Demon Hunter has been just absolutely out of control. You take a look at Aegis replay across all ranks, you can see it's the top, and it's kind of a big part of why a lot of other classes are buried, where we have Shaman, Rogue, Warlock, and Priest all basically 45% or less. This is something we typically just don't see. We don't see this. Even Wild, you take a look at Wild, it's a lot more balanced. You have Rogue as the top dog and Aggro Rogue, but that can be countered. There's a lot of tools to use in Wild, and every class is pretty well represented, with Warrior being the lowest at 45.5%. You still have Quest Warrior and even Deadman's Hand Warriors made a comeback. So Wild's actually not in the worst spot in compared to Standard. How about that? And what is going on that is really attributed to this with Demon Hunter? Well, you take a look, even Vicious Syndicate, they had their Data Reaper report come out just yesterday, sorry, where they went over it and they're thinking the format looks bleak. Basically, they state the post-patch meta has been taken over by Demon Hunter. Aggro Demon Hunter is spiking in popularity across ladder. It's near 30% peak atop legend, is quickly trickling down, and we expect the high diamond bracket will be breaching that number by next week. And yeah, that's kind of the thing. What typically a high legend, when it works there, it sets the trend and goes downwards, especially with something like Aggro Demon Hunter. And the way they've kind of gone over it and they've talked about it is that Demon Hunter is basically just doesn't lose to almost anything other than Warrior. You take a look at this. This is Aggro Demon Hunter's matchup spread. Across the board, it loses to Control Warrior. It's a little bit bad against some Paladin decks, and it beats absolutely everything else. And the number of basically the win rate of its matchups against Control Warrior and these Paladin decks is closing. It's getting more refined, it's getting better. And while you take a look at a class like Priest, that's all red, completely lost in the utter, like, that is just terrible looking. Yeah, Demon Hunter kind of has it strangled, where they literally have it posted in top 1000 legend that Aggro Demon Hunter and Control Warrior are the only tier 1 decks, and no tier 2 exists. It just goes down straight to tier 3, where they feel like it's basically, if you're not playing Demon Hunter or Control Warrior, it's not really worth playing. That's how dominant it is. And then you have all these other archetypes that could be kind of cool and interesting, are just absolutely bogged down and buried. And it took me back. It kind of like, I'm like, this looks awfully familiar. So I went back to an old Vicious Syndicate Data Reaper report, number 165. This was from the June of 2020, just like a month and a half, 2 months after Demon Hunter had initially been launched. Take a look. Aggro Demon Hunter was reigning supreme, and he took a top legend matchup spreads. It was Warrior Demon Hunter as the only tier 1 decks. And then you did have a tier 2 with like Highlander Mage and Hunter and Spell Druid, but it's kind of the same old story. It's like whenever Aggro Demon Hunter is good, it's way too good. It buries everything, and we are seeing that happening yet again. History is repeating itself a couple years later because Demon Hunter just has too much good stuff. So what is it in Demon Hunter that needs to get toned down? This is the most popular list on Aegis Replay, and if you take a look at the mulligan win rate in particular, Drekthar, 68% when kept in the opening hand, you win the game. Over 2/3 of the games, if you have Drekthar in your opener, you just auto win. And you have other cards doing very well. Multi-strike is the other big offender that for some reason, after you attack a minion, you can also go face, despite the fact it's worded an additional enemy minion. I don't quite get that, but that's the way it works, and it just creates this flexibility for Demon Hunter that not only are they, removing your threats, but they're also pushing damage, whether it be from just multi-strike in general or the weapon, of course, in Dread Prison Glaive that has honorable kill, so pushes a ridiculous amount of damage. And yeah, if you just take Drekthar out of the equation in this deck, all of a sudden the win rate would go down a significant amount. But you also maybe hurt multi-strike, remove that flexibility, make this 2 mana. I think it was Tice who I once heard say, you can make multi-strike 4 mana and it would still be good. I remember when it used to cost 5 and was called Warg Blades of Azeroth, and it was still pretty good. So yeah, I think Demon Hunter absolutely needs to get dialed back. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And you're looking at Drekthar, you're looking at multi-strike to do that, because effectively this deck has not really been nerfed. They made Pufferfist a 3/4, but that was more to nerf Pirate Warrior along with their nerf. And, you know, 1 health is a micro adjustment. They need a significant nerf this time around. And then you'll have the argument, well, if Control Warrior is the only other tier 1 deck, do you leave that alone? Because when Aggro Demon Hunter got nerfed originally, the last patch where Kazakusan, Miracle Growth, and Raid the Docks all got nerfed, it was like, well, you know, Demon Hunter will get naturally countered by the control decks. It just hasn't played out. It hasn't worked out. So will Control Warrior now naturally get countered by other, like, you know, greedier decks? And I don't think you run that risk. I think you kind of have to nip that one in the bud too. I don't want to be completely biased as someone who enjoys a control deck. And if you're looking at doing something with Control Warrior, this is the most popular list. Mulligan win rate, you're looking at Shield Shatter. Maybe that's just too flexible of a removal. Maybe you would bump this up by 11 or 12 to 11 or 12 mana. I don't know. You could do that. I don't believe we've ever had a spell cost more than 10 mana. But for me, I actually look at From the Depths as more of that kind of scary card. From the Depths is a card that allows Control Warrior to scam any matchup, whereas Shield Shatter lets it be good against mid-range or aggro decks and be efficient removal. So I'm kind of against nerfing a card like Shield Shatter or a card like, you know, any of the removal stuff. For me, it's more From the Depths, where you get that massive mana cheat and then you play Finley and then you get that scam. That's what allows Control Warrior to beat everything. It has a shot against every deck. If you make From the Depths considerably worse and make that mass mana cheat not as prevalent, I think that would be a good way of trying to dial or bring back in Control Warrior not to be the only other tier 1 deck. So yeah, we had that patch announcement potentially coming next week. So I'm hoping that something gets dialed back, because right now, if you look at it, Aggro Demon Hunter, absolutely out of control in standard. It's only going to get worse. Even Vicious Syndicate believes that as well, and I've seen the numbers. Hell, I've been queuing into standard Aggro Demon Hunter in Wild on my Legend climb, and it's not an easy matchup. Even when I'm playing a Reno deck and getting a bunch of armor or whatever, it is just a ridiculously good deck. And ridiculously good decks are allowed to exist, but we got to allow more than just a couple to thrive. And right now, it's a pretty stagnant meta and a pretty non-diverse meta that I feel is only going to get worse as time goes on. As you can see, these numbers don't look phenomenal. Hopefully something happens soon, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.